I mean, let's roll back the years. Where did you grow up, and what was life like for you as a kid?
I grew up in Yemen. For me, life in Yemen was kind of simple. I was as well very active. Um, that's around the family. We have a lot of big families as well in Yemen. Grow up as a lot of brotherhood life. So it was more I would say there was always something to do, and you always have this because my father, he's basically sheikh. He's a sheikh of a tribe in our tribe, Haraz. So we were more always have together to have a gathering where we just come together and just my father, he would talk to other tribes or to do something with the family. Same way we have this lifestyle of religious lifestyle where you have to visit, let's say, grandma every Friday. You have to, there's responsibilities around the family as well. We also, my cousins as well, I've been always around them. Mainly, they were all my friends. It's actually my family. So we were more very connected to the family. So my life, it's been always kind of close to the community, our blood community with the tree. So yeah, it was mainly that very family life for my 17 years, I would say.
And what's Yemen like as a country to grow up in?
It's good. Yemen is very nice, especially when where I used to live. I lived in Sana'a, the capital, and it was the Yemeni people are very simple in life. They're very cool, nice, and as well as we have this two different lifestyles as the tribe life, and also the modern city. So every person or most of the people in the city, they have kind of like the village as well. So you say, where are you from? I'll say I'm from Sana'a. But originally you would say let's say I'm from Haraz or I'm from all these are tribes. And these tribes, they also have areas we call it Qarya, which is in the mountains, and they are big families. It could be like 4 or 5 thousand from one family. They all if they do a wedding or something, they're just big families, and the same last name, for example. So yeah, it's very, I would say, in Yemen lifestyle is cool. Yeah, there is things to do, and there's always something to be connected to, when it comes to lifestyle. So yeah, that's what's, I would say, unique about Yemen.
How has the war impacted the everyday life of someone living in Yemen?
Oh, the war. Well, I would say in Yemen, where we grow up as well, there is some difficulties, from a very young age, before even the war started. For example, the essentials, like to get this gas or electricity or petrol for cars or something like that. These there was always on and off for it, even the electricity for the house or something like that. So we had this kind of struggle life as a routine before even the war or something, due to politics or economic or whatever is the reasons. We don't go to that, but in general, there was always been a struggle. But when the war started, of course, became more worse, more difficulty, more prices, life. Even when you see things, when you see physical war, or it's terrifying, because it's not like James Bond. You walk and you hear the gun and he's still walking. No, if you hear only a small gun, the sound of a small gun, it's terrifying. Imagine bombs. We've seen everything. Like I've seen like houses destroyed, like even like mountains like getting like exploded. So the war is yeah, it's not something that anyone like would like to see it. Of course, yeah, I would say.
At what point did you think I'm going to set up my life somewhere else?
Well, these things, I would say, it's not something even. Sometimes you don't choose it. I would say even myself, like I didn't really choose to go out or something. It was more like خلاص, you are in the survival mode, and you have just to go with the wave and see what's the opportunities, and that's it. Especially now in like in our life now or nowadays, all our life is became like a paper. I would say like if you want to get access to something, or you have to have paper or something to give you like a value to go out, or sometimes we have just to born in a place and then you became something without even starting doing something. Like, let's say if you have this visa or from this country, you'll have access to crazy without even starting to do anything, without being like without studying, without reading, without anything. So these things that are very interesting to look at because this is how they build. Basically, this is how the system has been built, or all around the world. So if you have like, let's say, a weak passport or something due to whatever, is this also give you like struggles. That's why you see even refugees, they just try to go in a survival mode or see whatever is the opportunity and just try to go. Some people die while in this journey. Some people like injured. Some people they don't exist. They don't exist anymore. Some people till today, till now, maybe now, just struggling to. So for me, the shift came natural. I won't say like I have a like very big story, because my friends they have more like interesting story. They have books that you can read. Like you can really make like write books about each person from either Yemen or Syria or all these places, because they really have like real struggles to come here. I know people, they're not even here anymore just because of the journey, just because they want to move to somewhere else. So yeah, it's this is life, yeah, for us. Yeah. It's just happened, and then just you go with it. So I moved to Yemen. That was like 2012, around that time. And then, sorry, 2013, and then I moved to Saudi Arabia. I worked there for like 2 years, and then I moved to the UK. So for me, I won't say like my stories, has like much, I would say, struggles as comparing to what I've read before or what I've seen, or my friends that I know here in London. So
What was the journey like from Saudi Arabia to the UK?
um, well, it was simple, really. It was very simple for me, especially because my father, he has like connections. He also like sheikh. So so for me, without my father, was gonna be like a different story, very different story. I may even I always think about it, even like if without my father or with his status or something, I may have a story that is maybe it's one of these stories that either I come here with very difficult story and all of that, or maybe I'm not even here anymore, or I may die in one of the port or whatever is the reasons. So that's very something that I always think about it. So and yeah, it's simple. The way I come, just simple. It's not.
So you grew up in the Middle East in Yemen, and you moved to Saudi Arabia, and then to the UK. What was that transition like, going from predominantly Muslim Islam backgrounds to Western UK? What was that transition like?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I would say I would say for me, it was more the idea of, I would say, I always like support the idea of the soul. Like if you have to have like this connection with your soul always, and you need it always. So for me, was my main struggle. It was more like the brotherhood life, because when I was in Yemen and I experienced war, I've seen all of that, and I've seen things. So for me, I believe like there was like two types of war that I experienced in my life. One, which is the physically, which was in Yemen, even around Najran, next to Saudi. We had even like there were like war that's happening. That was physically to see. You see it, you see everything. But with that happening, the things that was like calming me down was the family, the brotherhood, the religion as well. That even the voice, the sound of the mosque, you hear it in Yemen. You know you have these things that it's very helps you to calm down, relax, because patience is very important, and the religion as well support that sabr, as well as the family or even the members that all around you. They are mostly they are Muslims, all of them, the people around me in Yemen. So we were like supporting each other with these things, with the even with the with the verses or the advice or the it was always like send you back to the main core, which is be patient, or we have these words as well, salli al nabi, like pray, or all these things, praying, or all these helpful for you to calm you down. The same as here, like when you go and you do say yoga or you do any kind of these things practices, it's basically to calm you down from anything. Or same way in Yemen, but in Yemen it was focused, it was many, and you always hear it. It's always here. As well as a believer, you will have someone always you go to ask for his help. We believe Allah and all that, these things that helps us to go back. That's what I would say, even like between believer or non-believer. So the believer will always feel like there's something. And we believe that God, He's the highest power. All of these things also support us. That you talk to someone who's more power than anyone else, more than the war or the people who's doing the war or people who's responsible. So that was in Yemen, my experience. But when I came here, the other type of war that was mainly, I would say, is mentally, where there is like problems with the society, as like lack of families or lack of very individualism life. This for me was the first, I would say, like, oh no, here is different, or people that just in their own. So yeah, the being lonely, all these things that was different. And for me, I believe this type of war is more worse. That's my opinion to it. Is that from the experience that I had in Yemen? Because as I said, like the soul has to be like, like always like under like a recovery and calm. For that was my, I would say, the differences or my experience.
So would you say there's a stronger sense of community in Yemen than the UK?
The community center? Oh yeah, definitely.
Stronger sense of like belonging, community.
Definitely. Of course, also there's your family and the streets, life, childhood, all this as well. You will always think about it as this is my home. At the end of the day, this is my home. I'm originally from Yemen. That's my origin. You can't just switch. There's no switch between like this is my origin, and this is where I'm from. And whatever comes after this is like we call it even in Islam hijrah. Hijrah is like when there is like if you see there is a place where you struggle, you do hijrah. Hijrah is like when you immigrant, like you go and you find like opportunities for you and your family. And yeah, and it's all also depends what's your hijrah about. What's the benefits of your hijrah, or what's the income that you do from hijrah? Where does it go to? If there is a good value behind it, then that's a good thing to make you feel like, to calm you down from whatever is the struggle that you happening. For example, in the UK, you have or something. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Is there anything that surprised you when you moved to the UK?
Surprised me.
Yeah, in a positive or a negative sense?
Oh, in a positive. I would say more the positive sense is more the diversity that we have, especially in London. I would say, because most of my life I was in London, so it was more the diversity that people from all around the world. Um, you go to any bus, there is like 25 people from all around the world. If you just ask each one, they just give you a country. And yeah, I would say it's more like. It's peaceful and somehow like there's no much like everyone just in his own. Yeah, it's a two like weapons, I would say. It's like one is good, which is like just you can do your own thing and without like third party to come to you and just say or come into your business or do. But at the same time, sometimes you just need some people to come and just talk or you know have a word with you or have lunch with you, or all these things. You lack of this sometimes as well here. But overall, you just live and see you know what's the opportunity like or what's the lifestyle, and you try to, as long as it's not like forcing you to do things that it's, let's say, in whatever you believe in, then that's what we all need. Like just to have you have a free will to choose whatever you want to do, as long as you don't force people to against their free will to. And if they're not harming anyone, then leave them. So yeah, that's I would say.
So you moved from Yemen to Saudi Arabia, and then Saudi Arabia to the UK, and you've actually set up your own company, a coffee company.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration behind this?
For me, Hamdan Coffee mainly was like it's basically the heritage or language family to stay connected, because the more you stay like outside, like you're basically your family or your community or something, you start to think as well like you may lose even the language and somehow because that's happening always because you don't really practice. So for me, it was more like stay connected with my family back home, stay connected with the language as well, because you communicate with the traders or you communicate with the people there. But also like something that I appreciate or something that I would love also to share here to the UK, that we have something that it's very unique. Come and look at it, come look to the culture, like don't see just only what's happening like the political side, because these things that people choose it. I mean, the TV or whatever you see in the news, this is something that people choose that for you to see it. Like, but the natural thing that it's happening in Yemen, which is, let's say, the beauty of Yemen, or the things that it's the hidden gems, or these things, people they don't look at it. So for me, I believed like there's a product that in Yemen that it's very unique as well, and we want to share the culture as well. And also, like for me, I feel I'm very proud of being Yemeni, and I really feel like I want just to live with it, with this, to be proud that I'm from this country, and yeah, I would love to share it to anyone who's kind of like the idea of diversity, or we want to hear something different to what he's used to, used to in his lifestyle. So yeah, that's the inspiration.
So in the UK, there's this notion amongst a large portion of British society that they kind of view migrants and refugees as a burden to society, this whole concept of they're taking our jobs, they're causing trouble. What has been your experience?
For me, there is a saying that we say in Arabic, like, al-ardu ardullah, wa aynama anbatak Allah izhar. So the land is the land of God, and wherever you are, just be like a flower, or just do good, or be responsible. So for they've been always like people always travel all around the world, like historically. So it's not something that people can just create it to, oh, we need only one person, or we need only this type of people, because not everyone can do like this kind of job. Or if there was always been diverse, the only one, I would say, like when it comes to that. So if you take this person to, let's say, who speak a language, and he feel like a very pride with his in a wrong way. I'm talking like if you take him to a place where they don't speak his language, or they don't act the same way he act, he will be just alone there, because he doesn't know anything. So he will be kind of nothing, really, among these people.
Ameen, thanks for sharing your story. I encourage anyone in London to check out your coffee shop in Shepherd's Bush. I'll also leave a link to your website down in the description below. And once again, thanks for sharing your story.
Thanks for having me.